Welcome to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host. Here's our format. A bunch of guys sitting around a bar. There's no bar. Having drinks. There's no drinks either. But we're talking business, and you, the audience, are listening in. The Best of Investing is actually a radio show that has been around since August 2010, and it airs every Saturday on Fox News Radio, 9:10 a.m. at 1 p.m. Now, we're not a political show. We're strictly business, so everyone will be happy with that. We'll have various speakers, guest speakers, attorneys, accountants, economic advisors. The cool thing about this is that you're actually getting to see scenes behind the scenes. So we all have headphones on because we're recording a radio show that is going to be airing on the air on radio. But in addition, you get to see what happens during the commercial breaks, how we prepare for the next segment. So it's a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of levity because I like to try to throw a little bit of humor in there because, just business by itself sometimes gets a little boring. So you got to always kind of break things. Remember, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910. This is the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. And there we have some new listeners. So for those people, here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. Yeah, a couple of empty cups there. All right, guys. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, and Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage. Now, our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. You got it. We're giving away 9 vacations during this show. Theme is famous comebacks in sport. Don't forget to catch us on television. Comcast Channel 26 on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. Mark, you taught a 2-day workshop. Tell us what happened during that workshop.
The owner of that company had invited me to come up and talk to a class of 40 for 2 days, and the topic of that was attracting private money. And so we realized that we kind of created that topic out of thin air earlier this year, speaking with the owner of the company when I told her that my company, Pacific Private Money, we're now having our 4-year anniversary this month, August, but at the time this was about 6 months ago. We were 3.5 years old, and I said, we've done nearly 400 loans, and I've attracted over 300 private investors to the company. And she said, oh my gosh, you should really come and talk to my class about that, and because everybody's always trying to figure out in this business, if you're a real estate investor, if you're looking to buy real estate and maybe you don't quite have the piggy bank you used to have before the real estate market adjusted in 2008. And so she said you should come up and talk to people about raising private money and share with them the experiences and the kind of what did I do the last few years to kind of attract people into my particular
Won't they
company.
kind of create a little competition for you though?
So yeah, were the people taking the class looking to invest or looking to try to get people to invest?
Probably replicate what
That's
you did.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what everyone
Training
says to me. They
competition.
say, yeah, Mark, why would you do that? I mean, here you are, you're a hard money loan broker. Why would you educate real estate investors on how to circumvent you and how to go out to the community at large and raise private money? And the theory of it is that, first of all, we don't do 100% financing loans at Pacific. In fact, very few hard money lenders or private money lenders will do that. They generally require that borrowers have skin in the game. Well, a lot of borrowers out there, or I should say a lot of potential real estate investors out there, people who are interested in getting back into the real estate market, they may not have the capital base, or maybe they have just enough capital to do one deal but not the next deal. So they're in need of an equity partner or a joint venture partner or just equity capital in general. And so in a way it is self-serving for me to go out and say, hey guys, here's how you can go out and find private lenders. Here's where to go, here's what to say, here's how to put together a credibility package. Here are the steps that I would recommend you do to go out and find an equity partner. And then when you find that equity partner, come to a reputable hard money lender like me, leverage that equity, because quite frankly, I mean, in this day and age, we know that yields are a lot thinner Profits are smaller than they used to be. No one's making the $100,000 per flip that they were in 04, 05, 06. But so nowadays, in my opinion, you shouldn't do 100% all cash fix and flip deals, for example. I think the yields are too thin. I mean, you're lucky to make 15% oftentimes on a project, but if you leverage
that's like being just a regular contractor at that point.
Well, that's just it. So, but what if you borrow? What if you use half equity and half borrowed money, or maybe 40% equity and 60% borrowed money through a hard money lender? The returns to the equity investor go up dramatically. And what I teach the investors in the classroom is or the potential real estate investors in the classroom, I say, listen, guys, your job is to make your equity investor very, very happy.
Sure,
your job is to make him money.
Another deal with
so
you.
Don't go out and find a guy with $200,000 and then go do one project. Go find a guy with $200,000 and do 2 or 3 projects. Leverage that money. You're going to make him a much better yield return. He's going to be fabulously happy, and he's going to want to do more projects.
Okay, so you're not necessarily teaching people how to be a hard money lender.
No.
These are real estate investors who you're trying to get the equity for. Oh yeah, that's definitely self-serving. It's fine.
Right.
I was trying to understand what kind of.
So you're saying to them, you're not ready to come to me and use all your money in one deal. Why don't you, here's some hints that I can give you to go out and find other people that you can partner with, so you have a bigger lump sum to make as a down payment on several deals, and then you can come to me and we can do the hard money loan, because you're just putting part of your money up. You're not putting all your money up, and nor are you asking us as a hard money lender to go out over 65% of the loan.
That's exactly right. See, I don't want to do high percentage financing. In my business, we're very comfortable making a 65 or 70% purchase price loan. We can write those loans all day long, but we get calls at our company saying, hey, do you know where I can find equity partners, or will you introduce me to some of your private lenders as an equity partner? And my answer is no.
Exactly.
First of all, you don't have a relationship with these guys, and I can't hook you up with a perfect stranger. First of all, I don't know you, and why would I refer you to one of my private individual investors? And he would blame me if things went south. But on the other hand, if you're out there, if you know how to correctly put together like I called it earlier, a credibility package on yourself. Maybe it's your experience, it's your bio, it's your resume, there's all kinds of information. There's like 10 key components to a credibility package. You take that out, you go to networking events, or you go to your friends and family and say, look, this is my plan, this is what I intend to do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to invest in this type of property, I'm going to write lots of offers, and I'm going to work with a team that includes these people. Maybe you're a contractor, or maybe you have a contractor as a friend. And all we need is, I need this equity, and we're going to work with a hard money lender. So there's a formula that you can employ, and so a lot of people don't know that, and so the classroom that we did this week was essentially just to teach people how to do that. And what's interesting is, as a real estate investor or a budding real estate investor, there's a lot of classes you can take on how to buy property, how to write an offer.
Just not where to get the money.
Just, where do you get the money? So,
how much did people pay to attend that seminar?
That one was anywhere from, if they sign up early, it was $1,000 up to $2,000, which in my opinion was really inexpensive, given that you can pay easily $5,000 or more for some of these boot camps. But this was the first time that I had done it, and the reviews were very well received, and we're going to do some mastermind coaching with about 10 of the students from that going forward. But I'll probably do this again in another 6 months. Maybe we'll do it twice a year. But it was a lot of fun. It was a great opportunity for me to create a lot of written and visual substance. I had to do a 200-deck PowerPoint slide presentation.
Oh, wow.
And so now I've got lots and lots of material that I can use for future video, maybe some audio, maybe even blog posts, etc. So for me, it was almost like writing a book. As the clock ticked and the days crept closer to this 2-day class, standing up for 16 hours in front of a group and talking about a lot of different topics. It was a lot of work to run a busy company and to provide and create all the material for this classroom. So it was pretty exciting.
It's probably also pretty intense. I imagine people, a group of 40, it's probably a big outlay for them, and they're very anxious to have that outlay pay off. So,
exactly,
yeah. I promised them at the beginning. I said, look, my goal, guys, is to create 10x value. I want you to feel like you are taking away 10 times what you put into this is value. And of course, if they follow my steps and go out and find private money and find the relationship with the guy who might might invest in $1 million worth of real estate with them in the next 12, 24 months.
Oh yeah,
and
it'll
it was
definitely pay
totally
for
worth
itself.
it, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay, hey guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into email time and then a few other interesting things like the Facebook situation with all the investors.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the audience, listen in because give you a few little tidbits about Rule 144 stock. All right, here's our first commercial break. Here's our first trivia question. And we're talking about famous comebacks in sports. Game 6 of the 1986 Mets was one of the best comebacks in World Series history. What team did they beat? And we'll be right back. Excellent.
Awesome.
Okay. You guys know the answer to that one?
I don't.
Nope.
Niners. No.
So we beat the Mets. It was 86.
86.
Wasn't Boston.
It was Boston.
Was it?
Boston Red Sox, yeah. Calvin
Oh.
Schiraldi, I think, gave it up. And Oil Can Boyd, remember him?
Oh my
Oil can.
So I heard a guy on the radio this morning. This was great. He said he has this image that the Giants beat the Dodgers, or they get the playoff and they win, and they're in the.
Hey, Edward,
what's gonna
what's on your
happen.
foot there? Let me
I
see.
called a friend,
Oh, there
said,
we go.
thanks for the tickets with the
Maybe
game. He said,
close
it's a
up.
bummer, huh? I said, what? It's a beautiful day. He said,
case
got
of
milky. I
emergency,
said,
pull
what
this
about it? He
sticker
said, oh
off,
shit, I
fast.
ruined the game for you.
No, fast.
I didn't know.
Don't worry about
Yeah,
the
I
pain.
didn't. I was
Where are
watching the
they?
game and they were talking about Melky, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
either I had to go look.
I
at
gotta
the
worry
web.
about pain. You
It's
don't
just
have to
like,
worry
oh,
about pain.
suspended
That's
50
right.
I
games.
understand these people.
I don't.
Greed. Goes back to, again, Latrell Speedwell, remember?
Oh
He
yeah.
wanted $100 million, and they said, well, we'll give you $90 million, or something like that, right? He goes, oh, man, I gotta feed my family.
I know that
Really?
sounded
What do you
pretty
feed
lame.
them? Gold cornflakes, you know?
Those gold hamburgers they charge for $80 in New York.
Yes, exactly. $200
No,
for
really?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
actually a
No.
hamburger with gold flakes on it. I saw pictures
Oh,
of
is
it.
that what
It's
it
like
was?
it's like $80.
Or what about
It's
the hot
just-
dog, the one that's,
Rolling.
is the audience ready?
The audience is always.
The audience is always ready, yes.
Oh, the film. Darn.
Yeah. Don't do that to
Oh,
me.
that.
Don't.
As Homer Simpson
Nope.
would say.
Nope.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay. And away we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money and Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage. And when we cut to the first commercial break, we ask this first trivia question. Again, the theme is famous comebacks in sports. Comeback in sports. Okay, Game 6 of the 1986 Mets was one of the was one of the best comebacks in World Series history. Who did the Mets beat?
Well, it's the Mets. I know they didn't beat the Yankees, so
Nope.
my guess was probably the Boston Red Sox.
Boston Red Sox. That's right. That was the famous one through Buckner's. You're
Oh,
thinking of
that's
the,
right.
Yeah, the Mets.
Yeah.
That excuse me. The Mets Yankees. I think that was the 2000 Subway Series.
Did you ever see the Seinfeld series where they had Buckner on?
They had Keith Hernandez. Remember the one
No,
with,
no.
with
They had
Buckner?
the guy that the ball went through his
No,
legs.
I didn't see that one. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
one out. Okay. Email time. Robert, we received an email from a listener. It says, I'm looking for a loan and wondering the best time to lock in the rate because interest rates have gone up recently. What would you say to that person?
I would say join the party. We always are trying to figure out the best time to lock in a rate.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, before more than 5 years ago, some of the banks and we were able to have clients lock in a rate, and if the rates went lower, we were able to get the lower rate. Now that's
Like
not
that.
the case.
Yeah, just
that
keep
was
it. That's a no
the old
situation.
lock and drop policy, but now that's not happening. When you are looking for a loan and you go to the bank, or RPM is a mortgage bank, but when you go to us or to a bank and you ask them to lock in the rate, they pay a fee and they guarantee that, and they pay a fee for it. So they're
Let me
It's
ask
an
you.
insurance policy, right? Basically.
yes,
Yeah.
an insurance
Yeah.
policy.
Okay, so RPM also, you said that you're a mortgage bank, but you can also broker. So does that mean that if for whatever reason, if RPM doesn't seem to have the best rate at the time, you can shop it around?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's pretty cool.
RPM can go ahead and process and fund the loan themselves and keep it, or they can fund the loan and sell it to other places, or for us to make sure we're competitive, if they, for whatever reason, aren't at the market, or there's some other bank or credit union or mortgage bank outside of the normal channels that has a better rate, we are available.
So your higher ups don't mind if you.
They mind, and I tell them the way to have me take all the loans to them is have them be the best rate.
Competitive. Yeah, exactly.
'Cause, if they say I'm their client, I tell them fine, then treat me like I treat my clients, which means I'm going to go wherever I can get them the best loan. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in business.
Miracle on
so.
34th Street when Santa Claus ends up saying, "Hey, go to Kimball's instead of Macy's." You know,
yes,
just being super
yes,
honest. I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So what was the rate bump this week?
Well, I mean, there's always Monday morning quarterback when the rates go up or down, and we have some news services that supposedly give us a slight advance notice. It could be an hour, it could be a half an hour. Watch out, we think the rates are going to go up. So if you're in the process of doing a deal, maybe you want to lock right now. And that didn't occur this time, but in the past, just this past few days, rates went up about 1/4% in interest rate.
That's a
which
lot.
Is a
That's
lot.
a big
lot.
increase.
It's a lot.
What's the market attributing that to?
Well, I mean, nobody could say, and then today I read one of the blogs we get, and it said it's partially because the economic lookout for Europe is not as precarious as they thought it was right now. Of course, we've seen that several times.
So
and
good
there's
news
no-
is bad news for
well,
interest rates.
yes,
Exactly,
yes.
yeah.
Good news is bad news, and then the economy looks like maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was, and therefore the government probably was less inclined to do a quantitative easing like they've done twice.
I wonder how much of that is politics behind the scenes, where it's like, oh my gosh, the market really is, the economy's really bad, but politics say, you know what, let's just say that it's not so bad, and then
Well, maybe it's because I'm inside, but what I see is when the banks lower the interest rate and get really busy, so that maybe it takes them 45 or 60 days to do a loan. They don't want to go out and hire new people. They want to slow the process down, and the easiest way to do that is to raise the interest rates.
Well, that was going to be my next comment, that, could it have been attributable just because they're trying to manage the volume? Because I'm hearing that a lot of folks like you, Robert, are just super busy right now writing loans.
Super busy, and it's
So you
funny how that happens. The interest rates go up, and that's what I think the reason is, although no economist is going to make their money and be able to put out a blog or write articles.
You can't blame the banks, you got to
Yeah.
blame politics,
Yes,
Obama,
yeah,
the
or-
economy, something.
Yes, but
So-
it's odd how when they get really overloaded, the interest rates go up, and then there's other alternative reasons supposedly afterwards.
Well, a lot of people would say, "Oh gosh, honey, we got to lock this rate in. We got to get our refinance in now because it looks like rates are going up."
Yes, or
Whereas
the
they were
rates
sitting
went,
on those
or
sidelines.
the rates went up. I mean, a lot of deals, I mean, I'm always in different processes and different deals, purchases or refinances, and people always want to get the best deal they can, as they should, even when they're buying
Well,
a
you see
stock.
that even when people buying a house, right? It's like people sitting on the sidelines. The market's going to drop. The market going to drop. Let's not get in yet. But as soon as it starts turning, like really turning, that's when the frenzy
yeah.
comes, right?
Most of the people that wait and wait are the ones that will know that it's time to buy when they've missed the boat.
Yeah. Well, didn't you say that you had some stories of a couple of people that?
I have one guy who, I mean, is looking to buy a house, and he's been looking to buy a house for the last year and a half, and no, this one's not right, and this one's not right, and he and his different realtors and I keep telling him, you're going to end up being a renter. So you really should take advantage of the market as it is now. And the market is really strong. We've seen so many deals in Marin, in Sonoma, especially in the city or the East Bay, where the house is listed and there's multiple offers, 5, 10, 15 offers, and every single one of them is above the list price, and sometimes
It's
they're all
like
cash.
2005 again, all over
It
again.
is amazing, and there is that market.
Except that the prices aren't going up, 5% a month.
No,
Yeah.
no, but if a house is listed
Eventually, though.
for $550 by the comps and sells for $700, that's going to be the new mark
Ouch.
for the.
Yeah.
And it's in pockets. That all the realtors say if the house is good. And I'm involved in a deal now where the house, as an example, it's in a decent part of town, and at the height it sold for like 1.1, 1.15. And the people that bought it, for whatever reasons, lost their job, and the bank took it back, and in the process, they sort of trashed the house. And now it's for sale, and the good work that was done is still there, but the electric fixtures are gone, the water heater's gone, they really got angry and pulled out stuff, and still there's a half a dozen people that want to pay more than the list price for it, even with that.
What's it listed for?
It's listed for, I think, in low sevens, mid sevens.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go out in the mid eights or something.
Yeah, some of the, it's funny that I've looked at a couple of bank-owned listings that are just in the paper, and I looked like, and I said, wait a minute, this isn't such a great deal. I mean, the banks are getting kind of greedy themselves. You know, they're just being like regular old sellers.
Well,
You know what I mean?
the banks don't seem to act in their best interest. The house that, if I were able to work with the banks and make them better, I would say you have this asset that's the house that you own and is vacant. Hire somebody to mow the lawn or paint the property or fix it up, and you could have, just like one of the people that come to Mark to get a loan and do a fluff and flip. They could do incredible asset
Fluff and
for them.
flip.
Yeah, I mean that they don't have to do too
that
much
anything
to
like
the
a fluffer?
property. Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we got a great email from Mark. Audience, you're going to be wanting to listen to this one. Okay, here again, trivia. Today's trivia theme is famous comebacks in sports, and we're going to cut to the second commercial break. And here's a trivia question, guys. If you remember this one, who beat the Houston Oilers in the 1992 AFC wildcard game, coming back from a 38-3 deficit? Mark, the eyeballs are spinning. It's like you kind of know the answer.
Yep.
Yeah, you do know the answer.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know if I know for sure.
Okay, so call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. Who beat the Houston Oilers in the 1992 AFC wildcard game, coming back from a 38-3 deficit? Call 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name, your email address, and speak slowly and spell out your information one letter at a time. And we'll be right back.
You said 1992.
92, so the
1992.
Houston Oilers were the AFC. Is
Yeah,
that right?
so San Diego,
So,
was it?
Denver.
New England Patriots.
I'm not going to tell you.
New
No.
England?
It wasn't San Diego.
Miami.
Now, if I
No,
mention,
it wasn't Miami.
Yeah, it wasn't Miami. What if I mention Frank Reich took over? Would that make
Frank
It's
Wright?
not
No.
Seattle.
Mm-mm.
Ah,
Did he
okay,
invent the
good.
airplane?
Wait a minute, to beat the
Oh, that was
Houston
horrible.
Oilers in a comeback.
Yeah, no, I'm still stumped.
Not
Or
not
Frank
W-R-I-G-H-T.
Orville.
R-E-I-C-H.
Oh,
Frank
Frank
Orville.
Reich.
Like a third Reich.
Oh, the Third Reich. You're a great football team.
Yeah. Just don't get on their bad side. Or they'll take over Europe.
Cincinnati.
Come on, Mark, we're counting on you
92.
now.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what that.
Okay. All right. So we've got your email,
Okay.
and then we'll go into a little bit of the fun Facebook types.
Let's power through.
And away we go. The famous Jackie Gleason said, "We still love that guy."
And
Why do you keep winding your watch?
Do you
So I
remember
like to,
the?
it's not winding, it's setting the,
Setting the time for
10,
the- for the-
10 minutes.
I was
Oh, I was
watching
wondering. Okay.
Jackie Gleason show on TV, and away we go, and he went off at the end of the show, and you heard this crash bang, and he fell off the stage and broke his leg. broke
Did he
his arm.
really?
Yeah.
Wow. No, he was drunk most of the time. I've heard.
Yeah.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it, but he remembered all of his lines. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Hit his mark, as they like to say.
Yep. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage. When we get to the second commercial break, again, trivia theme is comebacks, famous comebacks in sports. Who beat the Houston Oilers in the 1992 AFC wildcard game, coming back from a 38-3 deficit?
And we're stumped so
We were
far.
stumped. It was an
You've
AFC
na-
team.
Yes, of
so,
course. You've
yeah,
named
so-
every team but this one. Who was the one who
We-
lost 4 Super Bowls in a row?
Oh,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
No.
No, in a row. Like
Oh,
year
in a
after
row?
year
Four in a
after
row
year.
wasn't New England. It was
Okay, we don't have all day,
Denver.
guys.
Oh, okay.
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Remember that Frank Reich took over for? I think it was.
I'm a West Coast fan. I
That's
keep track of those
one of
East
the
Coast
records that probably will not be broken.
Well, yeah, I never said. The only record I think in sports that won't get broken is Cy Young's 511 wins,
Wow.
because people don't pitch enough to
Yeah,
do.
That's
to,
true.
All right, and for Mark, we received this email for you. If I invest in deeds of trust, how secure is my investment? That's a pretty good question.
By investing in loans secured by deeds of trust. So it's an alternative form of investing, alternative to stocks and bonds, let's say, and it's known as trust deed investing. It's also called private lending, hard money lending, but trust deed investing is one of the more popular names or terms for the act of funding a loan that is secured by a deed of trust recorded against the property that you're lending on. So the question was...
Sort of like individuals acting as a bank.
Well, that's exactly right. That's it. Thank you for pointing that,
Put that in a
because sometimes
nutshell.
that's what it really takes to kind of get that aha moment, because there are, believe it or not, even though I'm very, very close, I'm in the industry, so sometimes I forget just how many people and such a high percentage of people out there really have not done this. I think, maybe 90% of the investing public out there is probably isn't even aware of the ability to fund a loan secured by a deed of trust. In other words, to be a bank, to be an individual banker, so to speak, to work with a hard money loan broker like us at Pacific Private Money, to take your money and to fund a loan like a bank loan. And when you do that, you have the same safety and security features that a bank would have. You have all the same rights and remedies as Bank of America does when they fund a loan. The only difference with us is we don't tend to fund consumer home loans. We tend to work in the niche of making loans to real estate investors who are buying, fixing, and flipping, or maybe it's rental property. And the reason we tend to stay away from owner-occupied homes is because of all of the rules and regulations that provide homeowners all kinds of new rights that maybe they didn't have 5 years ago. So most of the loans we do now are what we call business purpose, and they're to real estate investors on non-owner occupied property. So if you have to foreclose, it's a smoother and easier process than, say, having to foreclose on a family's home and kick a family out. So
if I invest $100,000 with Pacific Private Money and I get a deed of trust, you're telling me I'm just like the bank?
You're just like the bank. So the safety and
That's the
security
aha
feature.
moment.
That's the aha moment, right? So to answer the question, how safe are they? So there's safety and security features. I'm not going to be one to say anything is safe, but the safety and security features of a deed of trust, I think, are incredibly compelling, and I think much more secure than, say, stocks. So as an example, so what does that mean, the safety and security features? So when you fund a loan that's secured by a deed of trust through a hard money loan broker like Pacific, what you get is you first of all, you have a contract, which is the promissory note, which is the borrower signs an agreement to pay you back. Then that note is secured by a security instrument known as a deed of trust. It's recorded on the property. Most of the loans we make are first position liens, not seconds. So these are first deeds of trust. There's a lender's title insurance policy that's issued to the lender that ensures that lien position and that they are superior to any other liens on the property other than property taxes. There's also a hazard insurance policy that the borrower has to pay for that names the lender as a loss payee in case the house burns down. And then, of course, you've got the personal guarantee of the borrower itself. So you've got the collateral of the property, you've got the strength of the borrower, and in many cases, most of the borrowers we make loans to, these are people in the business of making money in the real estate industry. So these guys, again, it's a business model. So it's a very, in my opinion, if more people knew about trust deed investing, there'd be a lot more money pouring in. As it stands, there actually is quite a bit of money out there right now.
One of the things I like, one of the things I like about it is, unlike stocks, is, you invest in the stock market, not only does the price go up and down, but you have really no idea what those financial statements mean, or the shenanigans that go on with the CEOs and all
also
that.
probably 90 to 95% of the investing in stock market is by huge computer-driven programs and institutions.
Yeah, and you can't compete with the big boys anymore. At least with the deeds of trust, it's actually not rocket science. It's very, very simple.
And
It's
if
not.
you're not lumped into a fund, you have a mortgage on a specific property.
Right, it's not a fund. That's actually a really good point. We are not a mortgage fund. We are not a mortgage pool. We are originating loans between private individuals. So when you invest in one of the loans we originate, you're actually investing in a loan secured by a specific property for a specific borrower. So you get the credit report, you get all the information on the borrower, the loan application, et cetera. You get to see the preliminary title report and any other information, termite report, whatever inspections or appraisal there might be on the collateral. So it is not a pooled investment. It is an individual investment. And so it's just...
Well, I can know from being a mortgage broker, there's a lot of people that come to me and want to get a loan to do a project, or builders, or they think that they can buy a place and rehabilitate it and sell it. And in the past, they were able to do that easily, and I could get them a mortgage. And now with all the regulations and stipulations and make it a lot harder to qualify, there are a lot of clients that I say, it's a great idea, but you're not going to be able to get a normal loan funded by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. I'll have to find a hard money source for you, a private lender, and then I can go to someone like Mark. In fact, I would only go to Mark. I know people that have done deals with him, and the level of professionalism and attention to detail is fabulous.
Well, yeah, sometimes people think that business is like black market or something.
It's not. And two quick points I want to make before we go to the next commercial break is that the type of interest rates you can earn as a lender in one of these are anywhere from 8 to 10% is the range. And additionally is, when you want a common question is, why would anybody borrow money at that rate? That sounds like, a distressed borrower. Well, it's not. It's because the banks aren't making loans to real estate investors. The only resource most real estate investors have to use leverage is to come to a hard money loan broker, borrow the money at 10% or whatever the note rate is to them, and they have to just work that cost of funds into their strategy. And they do, and they can still make a profit borrowing money at 10%.
Well, I know some borrowers, they get into a deal not realizing that banks will not touch a deal if a construction project is partially done. I mean, if they just...
Or if the people who left the building ripped out the plumbing and took the copper or the wiring or trashed the house, it might not be bank
mechanics-
They
financing.
say,
Yeah.
we're ready to lend you the money, fix it all up, and then we'll lend you the money.
Right,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I
Comcast
say, well,
first.
wait a minute, I need the money to fix it up. Well,
Yeah. Well, the main reason is because people don't understand about the mechanic liens rules.
Yes, exactly.
That's what they're concerned about. A lot of people don't realize. They go, hey, I'll buy this house. It's only, it's been remodeled like halfway, and I'll just finish it up. Yeah, but the bank doesn't trust the fact that all the mechanic liens were. Okay, here is our third commercial break. Here's our third trivia question, and the theme again is famous comebacks in sports. Bobby Thompson of the New York Giants hit the shot heard round the world in 1951. Which team was on the losing end? And by the way, a lot of people don't know this, Willie Mays was a rookie that year. He was on deck. Kind of interesting. Bobby Thompson of the New York Giants hit the shot heard round the world. Which team was on the losing end? Make sure to include your name, email address, and remember to speak slowly and spell out your information one letter at a time. One letter at a time. Kind of went fast on that one. And we will be right back. Okay.
I'm not sure of that one either. Probably the
I've heard the
Yankees-
shot heard around the world, but
Okay,
I mean,
good.
that was so long
Probably
ago.
the Yankees.
1951.
1951, yeah, I'm sure it wasn't East. I mean, why would they give it such a dramatic name if it wasn't like a...
Oh, you
Rivalry
you
or
must have
something
heard
like
the
that.
radio replay of that.
I am now.
And, but I'll certainly get some
Like
business
that
from it.
haircut?
Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody got a haircut.
I was trying to grow my hair for a while because I looked at the camera and I go, holy smokes, what happened to all this hair? Gone.
Didn't know you had so much forehead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can I,
That's-
forehead keeps
just
growing.
show-
I was going to get a hair transplant, but
Wisdom.
just here and here, or just maybe get a Sharpie, black Sharpie,
Oh.
just fill it in.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it. Who
Yeah,
was
when
the
you
guy
have
that
what do they
sold
call
the
this?
tuft?
The widow's peak or
Yeah,
something.
widow's
yeah.
peak.
Yeah, right. Those of us
don't know
blessed or
why.
cursed with the widow's peak.
Yeah, are you blessed because you didn't lose all of it, or are you cursed because you only have part of it? Yeah. They kind of look like one of those little rooster things.
Yeah, you let it grow.
Yes. Okay, gentlemen. Gentlemen, gentlemen. Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hoff of Pacific Private Money and Robert Schiff of RPM Mortgage. Our third and final trivia question. Here we go. In the 1951 season, Bobby Thompson of the New York Giants hit the shot heard round the world, and Willie Mays was on deck. Which team was on the losing end? And if you remember, that's the one where I think it was Russ Hodges says, "The Giants won the pennant." The Giants. He says it 5 times. So, gentlemen, who was on the losing end?
I'm guessing the Yankees.
No.
No.
The Brooklyn Dodgers. This was to get into
Of
the World
course it
Series.
is.
Yes.
To get in.
Very good. Okay, so we covered email time. And Mark, before we get into this story, you were talking about knocking on doors.
Well, we were, yeah. We got into talking about the old days of foreclosure investing before you would just either go to the auctions or there were so many bank foreclosures. And in 2006, I actually did a little bit of door knocking, looking to do some pre-foreclosure investing, and that was tough. Those were tough days. It was tough just getting people to open the door. That's the hardest part on that. But
Hi, I'm here to buy your house.
I hear you.
Make a deal.
We had this whole pitch laid out. I don't even remember what it was anymore. But it was before I got into the hard money business and decided that was definitely where the money was.
Okay, so I got a story on this, and I understand that this is a true story, and it happened in California. This guy comes up to this house. He just fell in love with this house, and it's not for sale. He just fell in love with the house. Knocks on the door. The wife answered, and he says, "Excuse me, I know your house is not for sale, but I really love the outside of your house. I want to buy your house." And she says, "It's not for sale." And he says, "Well, I'll offer you, $1 million." And so she, wow, that's pretty good. She yells out, "Hey, honey," talking to the husband, "this guy wants to buy our house for $1 million. It's not for sale. Shut the door." Boom. 10 minutes later, the guy comes back, and she says, "What do you want?" He says, "Well, I really, really want to buy your house." She goes, he says, "I'll offer you $2 million. And, she's, "Honey, the guy is now wanting to give $2 million. No, shut the door." So the guy comes back about 10 minutes later, and she answers the door, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, you again? Honey, that guy's here again." He goes, "Well, tell him $8 million. And the guy says, "Okay, done."
No, that's
And
a
so
true story.
That's what I heard. Don't know if it's true, but it makes for a good story, though. Okay.
Sounds like alligators in the sewer or something. What are they
No,
called?
but I do know of a couple people across the street from where I used to live, and someone knocked on their door and offered them about twice the market value of the house, about $1.25 million, and he'd write them a check, and they said yes, and then he went to the next house in the street and did the same thing, and that was about 8 years ago. He was planning on buying it for his kids. Those houses have been vacant for the last 8 years. But the people got the money and moved on.
I assume the check's cleared.
The checks cleared.
Well, in this
Yeah.
tight market, I know a lot of people that are actually door knocking, looking for opportunities, and it's a great way to get around the fact that there's the MLS has such low inventory out there that there's so many. You're competing with a lot of other investors to buy these homes. If you go out and make your own market and knock on doors, whether it's pre-foreclosure or just looking around neighborhoods for homes that look like they're not being cared for, you can get a little creative in this market and take advantage of some opportunities.
Okay. All right. I want to change subject for a minute here. Okay. Facebook investors are cashing out. That was the title
Glad
of
I'm not
yesterday.
one of them.
Yeah, a couple of days ago, we saw this on the newspaper here. So on Thursday, Facebook closed just under $20, and over 270 million shares became eligible. Now remember, it hit at 40, close to 40, right?
About
Yeah.
38.
38,
Open
it
at
seems like 38, right? So it's
Now
about half its value.
It's headed to about half.
Okay, so now, if I understand it correctly, it's called Rule 144 stock, and the idea is you don't want a situation where it comes out at $38 and suddenly everybody, including the CEO, says, "Great, I'll sell," and then the doors close because there's nobody to run the company. So they put restrictions on the sales of these shares, and apparently they are now doing it in two different waves. One is the 90-day rule, where like nobody in the inside can sell. After 90 days, people like J.P. Morgan and those kind of insiders apparently are allowed to sell, but the employees apparently have to wait another 6 months, another 30 days. 90 days. So they have to wait a total of 6 months. So can you imagine being an employee? It comes out at $38, and you're just sitting watching. You can't do anything. You can't do anything with your stock, and then it's 3 months later. Now suddenly, bam! 270 million shares comes available. The stock plummets some more, and you sit there waiting, doing nothing because you can't. And here's what happened to me personally: is I got in on the ground floor as sort of an extra spiff of some deal that we had done. And we were given 100,000 shares of stock, and it came out at like $2 a share or something. And we sat there, and because of Rule 144, we had to sit there just watching it, and we watched it go to zero before it had a chance. We got nothing, and we liked it.
You had wallpaper.
I don't even know if we got that out of it. Just enough to feed the bird cage, for the bottom.
The newspaper only talks about, those handful, those couple of dozen Facebook investors who were sitting on hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth, even at $20 a share of Facebook stock. But I would venture to guess the vast majority of Facebook employees who have some kind of vesting, they're watching what could have been after, maybe toiling for several years, blood, sweat, and tears with a minimal salary or wage, and looking to make it up on their vested shares, and watching that go from what might have been $1 million to $500,000 or worse, depending on how that tracks in the next 6 months. So it's really that's where the sad you can't feel sorry for the founders of the company.
You think Zuckerberg's going to go on food stamps pretty soon?
Yeah,
no, I don't think it's going to be quite
I don't think
that
he
well.
cares. And again, I think
No, he did. Well, apparently, according to the article, he does. Now,
really,
how
why?
much of it? Well, because I think apparently he's not just
ego.
looking at him. It's
he
more of
doesn't
an
want
ego
to
thing.
say, Google went public and zoomed, and Apple is zooming, and he doesn't want to be the.
Well, then you got LinkedIn, which is double what it opened at right now. LinkedIn, I think, is a fabulous business model. I prefer LinkedIn personally to Facebook. I don't spend any time on Facebook, but I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn for business reasons.
Yeah, I know.
I think one of their problems is everybody in the world uses it more than they use so many other things, but where's the revenue?
Exactly. I mean, unless people click on a sidebar or something, I don't know where they're going to be making their money.
Yeah.
It's like so many times when you're looking at some of these, like I like Yahoo to get news and stuff, but I can't stand when I click on it and suddenly a 30-second advertisement comes. I either look away and do something else, or I just say, you know what, I'm not that interested in it, and click away. And it's funny because all the users, I look at the comments. That's the favorite part for me, is to see all the comments. And I can't stand these.
Usually using a little bit more choice language than that, right?
That is true. We are on radio. We're FCC.
Yeah, no flaming.
No flaming. Yeah. We have just a quick little extra minute here. Any last thoughts about what's going on in real estate or interest rates or economy? Or predictions of the election?
Well, it's the election year, and it's going to be an interesting few months. So
I wonder if it'll matter who gets in afterward. Do you think maybe a lot of people are just sitting on the sidelines until somebody gets in?
I think certainly the media is going to do very well this quarter.
I wonder if Pat Paulson's going to come back in,
that's
or
right.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse usually generates about 1,000.
Well, there's the woman
hits.
comedian, what's her name, who sang the Star Spangled Banner in a less than pleasant manner. I forget her name.
Joan Rivers.
No.
Roseanne Barr?
Yeah, Roseanne Barr is a serious presidential candidate.
Under what party?
I would say it's the Peace and Freedom Party, but I don't think
I
she
thought it
would
was the
be
beer
aligned.
and chips party. The beer and chips. Yeah. All right, guys. We are going to have to cut to our thoughts for the day. And how can something be new and improved? If it's new, what was it improving on? You get that? I understand that. Okay. And never be afraid to try something new. Remember that a lone amateur built the Ark, and a large group of professionals built the Titanic. keep that in your thought.
In your bonnet.
In your bonnet, yeah. Okay, tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long. Good.
Indeed.
All right. Well, good.
Can't believe it didn't know the Brooklyn Dodgers.
I
Couldn't-
know.
Guy, you don't know the Brooklyn Dodgers,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing
I
that
thought
they
you guys
had
were
the
sports
Yankees,
guys.
the Mets, the Giants, and the
Wow.
Dodgers all.
Yeah.
You want
the
to get
fly.
it or you want me to get it?
You get the fly. Corrects me up. Okay, you guys ready?
We're getting there. Let's warm it up. We're warming up with a joke.
Oh, I got a couple here then. Okay, here we go. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910. This is the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. And for those of you listening to us for the first time, here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks, without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, and Lou Botmal of LPL Financial. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Now write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. And today's trivia theme is odd names in sports. It'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And Lou, let's get right with you because you got a lot of great economic information for us.
Well, I think as we end the week, it's pretty interesting out there. The market activity, we've kind of come up to a pretty high level in the market, which has surprised a lot of people. We've seen a steady rise in these indices over time, and people are really wondering why. What's really the backdrop to how come the market's going up? And it's really a backstory built on a few sentences in a Fed statement. And very quickly for listeners out there, the Federal Reserve beats and discusses interest rates. Real estate people laugh at that because they have to predict it just as much as anyone else. And during these meetings, they discuss what they're going to do to the economy, what they're going to do with interest rates. And there's a thing called the Beige Book, which actually contains the notes. And this week in the notes, they said, well, we might do quantitative easing 3. And quantitative easing, just again for the listeners, is that's where they go out there and buy a bunch of bonds, lower interest rates, and let the economy go hog wild. That's that's what happened.
Close your eyes. Hope throw
The
some
stock
stuff
market
up.
seems to like it, though, as you say.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're on the precipice of probably a somewhat of a negative quarter from a Q3 standpoint, and looking forward, there's nothing dramatic where I go, oh, hey, look at the outlook with this company. I mean, locally here this week, we heard Autodesk is laying off 500 people.
500, yeah.
So it's
But they won't say where.
No, they won't, and
Yeah.
and they're talking about going into cloud computing, which hasn't been one of their strong suits, and that's kind of the answer to everyone's tech problems lately. Or we're working towards the cloud, or working towards mobile. But I mean, it's a good company; they have a great product. I think they'll be fine. But the crux of it is there's a lot of Caterpillar also said, hey, we have kind of a negative outlook, especially in China. So there's not a lot of great news out there, and I think the Federal Reserve is like, hey, let's kick it into gear and get the economy over this hurdle and start lowering unemployment again.
So are they going to lower the discount rate again? Is that
They
the
can't.
idea?
No,
I
you
mean,
can't go below 0.
Well, are
right?
you sure you can?
They've been talking about QE3 for a little bit, right? Haven't they hinted that already several months ago?
Absolutely. No, they've been. This has been on the hanging
radar.
the hanging edge of the cliff for a while.
So what interest rate are they going to lower then?
No, it's not. It's not necessarily lowering the interest rate, which is already low, and they said it's
They're
going to
just
be
gonna
low
buy
for a
the
while.
bonds.
They start buying the bonds, which injects a bunch of cash into the banking system, which means all of a sudden lending becomes easier.
In theory.
In theory, if they, that's a great point, Mark, because last time the money wasn't flowing easily, and the banks were under some restrictions, we'll talk about in a little bit.
So they're going to start giving 105% LTVs on houses again?
Oh, happy day.
happy
So
day.
Lou, why do people like Steve Forbes, publisher of Forbes magazine, just they're railing against the idea of another QE?
Well, that's a great question, because in the end, the real result of it is we increase our balance sheet. We're borrowing money to inject in the economy to make things better. And people say that this much medicine isn't going to cure a pretty sick economy, because in the end, we got to pay off debt.
They've also talked about going back on the gold standard, but you'd have to have gold.
That
at
was
about
in the
10
news this week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$10,000
Republicans.
an ounce.
I think
you know.
I think that silver standard might be a little easier. There's more silver out there, but Steve Forbes has a valid point, because what people are concerned about are our debt was downgraded last year to AA because our balance sheet's so out of whack, because we owe so
Well,
much
who,
money.
Who would be AAA?
Well, right now I'd probably say Sweden, maybe Brazil. There's
Really?
no,
Brazil?
Brazil, yeah. Brazil's not there yet, but they're approaching it.
I mean,
I think in the next 10 years, Brazil will be one of the better.
It's interesting because when
Yeah.
I was there in Rio in 1988, and it was really funny because they had just changed from the Cruzeiro to the Cruzado,
Right.
and they just decimated their currency. And in fact, it was so bad that they said, "We've even set up a little black market in the hotel for you to exchange your currency. So rather than go to the bank, you can go to the black market." I mean, they even called it the black market, and it was in this 5-star hotel. And we said, "Is that legal?" And they go, "No, but it's okay."
No, it's
Everyone
yeah.
does it.
It's
Must be okay
Yeah,
then.
there other countries present certain challenges, especially when changing currency. I had a friend that went to Cuba, and you're allowed to exchange $100 a day in Cuba. Don't ask me how he got there. I can't really disclose that, but the end result is Brazil, Australia, Sweden, because of the oil reserves that are Sweden. The Corona is the big.
I like
currency.
Corona.
Yeah,
I drink it
Corona's
every
the,
time.
okay, here we go.
That's the
I
good-
walked in
yeah.
that one.
Of course you did, yes.
Every single time. But these countries are emerging. They're strong. They're small. They don't have balance sheet issues. So between our statements around, and remember, I think I forgot to mention that next week the Fed goes to Jackson Hole. We have this Republican convention, which I'm sure you guys are going to be talking about next week.
I'll be glued to the TV.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's either that or the hurricane. Pick one. But
I'm going to be glued to my bed with my eyes closed. That's what I'm going to be.
well, obviously we're not on the Rush Limbaugh station any longer, but I can say that. But during the Republicans are talking a lot about the debt ceiling and what's going on and paying off that debt. But in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, every year they have this kind of a, dare I say, pretty instructive meeting.
Think tank.
Think tank, but what do we really need to do to get the economy going? They're stabbing each other with swords, saying, "What's the next step?"
Okay.
And Ben Bernanke usually makes a statement at the end of Jackson Hole, which I think would be the 31st of August, a week from this past Friday, and boom, there we go. There's a decision to whether we do it or not. So the market could be heading down if nothing happens. And the same is coming. We'll talk about Europe in maybe another segment, but Europe has the same thing where people are talking, but no one's doing.
Okay.
It's the issue.
All right, hey guys, just a quick, before you go to the break here, for you real estate investors out there, you're not going to want to miss an awesome event being held at the Santa Clara Convention Center on Saturday, September 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to cut to our first commercial break, and again, the trivia theme is odd names in sports. In hockey, what is the machine, what's the name of the machine that they use to groom the ice? The first 3 callers with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. I keep thinking of Snoopy driving that thing.
Are we broadcasting in Canada right now? I can't.
Oh, no, you'll know it. As soon as we say it, you'll know it. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. In hockey, what is the name of the machine that is used to groom the ice? 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name, email address, and remember, please speak slowly and spell out your email 1 letter at a time. And we're going to be right back.
Zamboni, right?
That's correct.
I was going to say Gamboni or Gambaroni. That's
Gambaroni.
shrimp in Italian,
Okay,
isn't
hold on a
it?
second.
I don't know. I can hear.
I can hear you loud.
Okay,
Yeah, me
I
too.
see. I'm talking. I can't hear myself.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
that's probably.
No feedback.
Yeah, that's. Am I talking too loud?
Oh, well, I'm getting you loud here, and I can hear him loud.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't hear anything.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you better than I can hear myself.
Oh, okay. Huh.
That's
Your phones
Okay.
must be turned down a little bit then.
Yeah,
Your
that's a little
mic-
better.
That's a little better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's it. So I was talking. I thought no one could hear me.
No, we can hear.
Can anyone
you.
hear me? Is that a poem?
We can stay consistent. We can do that.
Yeah, let's stay a little more consistent. With
We can.
this.
We can start with Jackson Hole and probably work on the Europe thing a little bit, and I can explain what that means to everybody.
Okay.
Is August typically slow in also
yeah.
in the stocks? Because certainly it has been in real estate.
No, it's the Hamptons. That's the Hampton season.
Ah,
That's the
okay.
big joke in the market. Everyone's in the no one's really making any decisions. Everyone's in the Hamptons drinking and partying.
But yet it's gone up. Which
Well,
I guess-
that's the whole thing. Is like why would it melt? People called it a melt up, not a meltdown, because they said what the hell's going on? Usually meltdowns like why is it going down?
Yeah.
Everyone's going why is it going up? So kind of the inverse of that. So but it's been a struggle.
Yeah, why is it going up? Where's the good news? And
Yeah.
and yet Apple still keeps. I thought it was
Yeah.
overpriced at 300. Here it's 650. Oh, so
Yeah.
keep going up.
There's a great article. Mark Hilbert, who's on Market Watch, said that when a company's weighted that heavily in the index, the next year it usually has about a pretty big negative year, like usually 5% over time. I won't say the rate of
Well,
his
it's-
yeah,
analysis.
I'm not buying
Probably because people going ahead and rebalancing their portfolio because
Right.
it's too high anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's controlling a lot of indexes too. I mean, I was looking at the QQQ index. I think it's 18% of the QQQ index.
That's a little
That's,
too much.
that's 1/5.
QQQ.
Okay.
Let's hit it. Otis Day and Night.
Otis Day and Night, that's right. That's right. That's
Perfect,
right.
man.
Well, that okay. Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money and Lou Botmal of LPL Financial. When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this first trivia question. In hockey, what is the name of the machine they use to groom the ice? Gentlemen?
Zamboni.
Zamboni with a Z.
I kept thinking Gambaroni. Isn't that like shrimp and
Sopranos.
Yeah,
the
that's
Sopranos
right.
coffee.
That's what it is.
That's the Sopranos used to take care of people they don't like.
Watch out or we're going to give you the Zamboni. Yeah. Or the Gambarini. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long.